Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to Iron on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron, and this is a special bonus episode coming at you on this Wednesday. That's right, the regular edition of the podcast, which would be episode 113, will not be dropping until hopefully later in the week, where our guest will be Jake Christ. I'll tell you more about that in a bit, but today I've had some technical issues as far as editing the podcast, and I'm working those out to bring you this bonus episode because I care about you, and I want you to have a new episode today. And so today, the topic at hand that we're going to discuss actually comes from a bonus episode. I guess I'll let this happen.
Pardon the interruption.
Okay.
This isn't Aaron Bauer. This is your little brother, Zach Thomas.
Little brother with a big head. How are you?
Big head.
Yeah, real big head.
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm okay. Thanks for joining me today, Zach.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Appreciate that.
Of course.
Helping me a little bit here with this bonus edition of the show. Not only are you talking with me for a little bit to sort of give everyone a unique intro for this patreon.com/ironandwrestling bonus episode that we're going to be playing for you in just a bit, but you also provided the monitor, which will allow me to edit this shortly on my busted laptop.
It is busted, but this is yours now. You can have it if you need to.
I appreciate that. Hopefully in the next couple of days I'll have a new laptop at my disposal. I won't have to utilize this monitor. I guess I shouldn't have to. It's not a big deal if I use the monitor. Whatever, it works just fine, but I would rather have a portable 100% intact laptop. It's more convenient to carry the laptop as opposed to a laptop with a giant fucking monitor.
That you'll probably have to, find an actual outlet for. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort that I don't want to put into the podcast. Though I do love doing the podcast, obviously. That's why I wanted to make sure that you guys got an episode today. And I apologize for Patreon subscribers who usually get the podcast early and extended. But guess what? You're not getting it early, but you are going to get an extended version of this bonus. That's right. Not only are the free listeners getting the bonus episode of the podcast, which the topic at hand that Aaron and I discussed for our good buddy on Patreon, Deshaun 2 Cents, it's Raw guest host. Zach, you remember Raw guest host, don't you?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? You don't remember the period of time in the WWE where they had guest hosts every week on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah. Sorry.
What did you think I was talking about?
I don't know.
What?
Brain fart, bro.
Brain fart. That's a big fart in that big head.
I got a big ass head.
And do you think that's a genetic thing? Because I don't think anyone else in the family has a big head.
I don't know. I think that's my birth defect. So,
okay, I see what you did there because I have cerebral palsy. How often did you get made fun of for your big head as a child?
All the time, whether it be coming home to you and Mike calling me Big Head, which to this day, my name in Mike's phone is Mr. Big Head, which is probably yours as well.
It's not, it says Zach.
And then in school, I'd get called Big Head, but not only that, I'd get called Gorilla because I look like a monkey, like really bad.
No.
So, and you compared me to Donkey Kong recently. So,
I mean, that's a regular thing that I do.
yeah, I know.
Not that offensive, because I mean,
No.
Donkey Kong is one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time.
True, and he has his own trilogy, whatever you want to call it. He's got a lot of.
For Super Nintendo, it's
Yeah.
a trilogy, but obviously that expanded to the Nintendo 64, which is a great version, as well as there's a version for the Wii that I quite enjoyed. I didn't get further than the Wii, so I don't know if there are better Donkey Kong games out there. Perhaps you will know.
So when I had my Switch, they came out with another one. It was like Donkey Kong, something where it's involved in like the mountains.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So it looks like a brand new one where you're able to play as the Diddy Kong and the girl.
Okay. All right.
So it's newer.
That's a Dixie Kong.
Dixie Kong,
by the way.
sorry. Diddy, Dixie. What's the other one?
Well, Diddy is the boy,
Yeah,
and
that's what I
Dixie's the
meant.
girl.
Yeah.
So,
I said that correctly then.
yeah. Well, but you didn't know her name.
True.
So, but yeah, I enjoy Donkey Kong. You don't look that much like Donkey Kong. We just mess with you. But did that bother you as a kid though?
As a kid, yeah. I don't know why. It just did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting made fun of is not fun.
No.
It's fun for the others doing the making
I
fun
mean,
of.
after the fact, when I got into like the later years of middle school, going into high school, is when we probably actually had a talk where it was essentially you saying when people were making fun of you, you made fun of yourself before they could do it.
Mhm.
So that's when I started going along with it.
Yeah.
And then nobody messed with me anymore. And I also was kind of bigger than everybody at that time. So
Right.
that was also a reason. But
Well, it's not fun if you make fun of someone and they no-sell it. So that's why it's like,
Right.
And then if you have the better jokes, then why even bother, right?
Yeah.
So what's some of your big head go-to jokes?
for myself,
Yeah.
the big head jokes wasn't really a thing for me. Like getting back at them, it would usually be the like monkey one where I don't know. I would make up the random stuff of I'm smarter than you, because monkeys are pretty smart compared to humans.
They are.
Even though we're kind of the same species. At the
You know,
same time,
I like, I'm sure you know this about me, I like random facts and watching documentaries and stuff, and I was just, for no reason whatsoever, on the trip home from GCW this weekend, I was watching a video about the most painful things that can happen to you as a human.
Mm-hmm.
And on this list was being attacked by a chimpanzee is one of the most painful things that can happen to you, because chimpanzees are so strong. They're cute and adorable, and you love putting them in tuxedos and stuff like that, because, I mean, it's cute to look at. But if they get mad at you, do you know that they can just, like, rip your hands off?
No.
Dude, it was terrifying. Like, it made me think of the movie Congo, which you probably never saw because it came out in, like, 95. But it was a pretty famous movie about, like, a killer gorilla type thing. But chimpanzees have a habit of, like, they don't like to kill their prey.
Mm-hmm.
They like to mutilate them. So they'll, like, before they kill you, if they kill you, they would much rather, like, rip your eyes out or your hands off or your legs and, like, bite your pieces of your face off. And so they were talking about these incidents where, like, this couple had a couple chimpanzee pets, and so they went home because one of them got out of the cage, and so then both of the chimpanzees started attacking them, and they just basically left the dude for dead, and he had to get a bunch of surgery because they just ripped off his hands and bit off his face, and it just sounded really, really bad. So that's apparently one of the most painful ways that you could die.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was the same with the old Planet of the Apes, but the newer ones, they kind of have it like that, where there's the one specific ape that's kind of the lead of them all. It's like Caesar or whatever.
Okay.
And when they would get one of the dudes alone, they would, like, beat the crap out of him, basically, and stuff like that. Like, they tased them and shit like that. The monkeys tased them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the new Planet of the Apes, but I hear good things. But, this isn't a podcast about monkeys or chimpanzees. Fun to talk about. Nice little sidebar there. But so later in the show, we're going to play you the episode that we did exclusively for Patreon, that being the best and the worst moments of the Raw guest host era in WWE. Very interesting time, and we really thank Patreon subscriber Deshaun 2 cents for picking that one for us. You, of course, can pick your own podcast for us to talk about over at patreon.com/irononwrestling if you're at the $9 and above level. There's other tiers that you can look into. You can get in the door for only $3. That gets you all the bonus episodes, over 100 bonus episodes, as well as some bonus videos. And if you go up in tiers, you get extended videos, you get extended podcasts. Obviously, you get Zoom calls, which I believe I will be doing sometime this weekend. I'll be scheduling a Zoom call for $5 and up members. $5, you get an hour of my time, and it's always great conversation. We talk about life, wrestling, whatever comes up. I try to have subjects in mind, but sometimes we just go with the flow. It's a good time. You know, you could get a cameo shout out from me for like $20, but why do that when you can just talk to me for $5 and get a bunch of bonus content? That seems like a great deal, right, Zach?
Yeah, $5. Can't beat it.
What tier are you on the Patreon?
The free tier, unfortunately. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, well, you can always listen for free on iTunes like you're doing right now. iTunes or wherever we download podcasts, but I figure giving you guys a sample of what we do on Patreon is always a nice way to sort of try to convince you that that is the way to go. But I want to address the Jay Chris subject real quick because obviously since I got equipment last second, that being this monitor that I have here, I could edit and upload the Jay Chris episode. However, and I will elaborate on it once you get access to the episode, hopefully this weekend. After Jake and I did the episode, Jake had some concerns about some of the things we talked about. I don't think there's any issues about things we talked about. I think it's a compelling story. I think it's an emotional story, and I think it sets the record straight on a lot of things for Jake Christ. But because he's my friend and I've known him for years, and I told him back in messages like, look, I don't think we said anything that is should be bothersome to anybody, but I would like you to hear the podcast first. And he wrote me back. He said, yo, brother, I trust your judgment. If you think everything's fine, then just put it out there. But I don't want to do that if he feels uncomfortable or unsure about things that he said.
Right.
And again, I have a lot of respect for him. So currently he's on vacation with his family. He's got bad cell service, bad Wi-Fi. And so I won't be able to send him the episode until sometime in the next couple days. So until I get his approval, you get this bonus episode. So I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. And if Jake is uncomfortable with anything we talked about, we will record another episode with Jake Chris because his story, both inside and outside of the ring, is something that I think you need to hear. He's an incredibly underrated talent, and I would love to bring you his story. And hopefully we'll do so, if not this weekend, sometime in the near future. But until then, you get this today, and I think it'll be very enjoyable for you. So, I want to get to that part of the podcast in just a moment. But before we do so, I'd like to let you know that even with this bonus episode, you're going to get a bonus within a bonus because I sit here with Zach Thomas. We're going to talk about some stuff exclusively for patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling. Of course, that's part of the extended version, which you can get starting at $3 over on patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling. On the episode that will hopefully drop this weekend, we elaborated in the extended version about a legendary professional wrestler, in fact, a two-time Hall of Famer, that being X-Pac, because Thursday I'll be appearing on X-Pac's Pro Wrestling for Life podcast with Nick Hosman and, of course, Sean Waltman. And it's a very emotional interview, I don't know, it was just a cool interview and a cool opportunity to sit down with some guy that, I looked up to for years, was an innovator, a game changer in professional wrestling. And at the time, it's funny because have you ever met X-Pac, Zach? Back in the day, he was considered a small guy, but he's like 6'1". He's not even a small. Yeah, he's like 6 foot, 6'1". He's a pretty big guy, but for that time frame, he was a smaller wrestler, and he really innovated a lot of things and sort of paved the way for guys to come. I mean, I think people look at those individuals like Rey Mysterio and, of course, in later years, Daniel Bryan as guys that really broke the glass ceiling of being a smaller, undersized wrestler and making it to the top. But I feel like X-Pac sort of gets overlooked because he did pave the way in a lot of ways. And his moment with Razor Ramon on Monday Night Raw back in 1993 where he upset him was something that was incredibly memorable and still one of the most memorable moments in the history of Monday Night Raw. But that's on the Patreon part of the podcast of episode 113 that will hopefully air this weekend. You can hear it there for just $3, as I mentioned. But what I want to talk about, since I have you here exclusively for Patreon, Zach, I know that one of your all-time favorite wrestlers is who?
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall. And for those that, unless you were living under a rock, you would know that Scott Hall and X-Pac are sort of tied together because of the Clique, because of the NWO. And I feel like because you love Razor Ramon and you have some experiences with Scott Hall, we could talk about that exclusively for patreon.com/irononwrestling. What do you say?
I'm down.
But before we go over to Patreon, there's something I want to talk about for everyone listening, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Zach, you are an athlete.
That I am.
And, as an athlete, I would imagine that you have a lot of respect for Olympic athletes who are participating right now in the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
Well, if you're an athlete, you want to treat your body like royalty. So, Zach, do you treat your body like royalty?
I mean, I do keep myself nice and clean to that extent, yeah. Okay.
Well, do you treat your pubes like Olympic gold?
I do.
Do you?
At least that's silver. I'm at silver.
Okay. Well, I think we got to move that up to a gold medal.
Okay.
You know how you can do that?
How's that?
Manscaped.com.
Manscaped. I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Did you hear it from Dad?
Yeah, actually, he told me he was going to order one last week. I don't know if he did or not.
Somehow I don't believe that. But if he was going to order from Manscaped.com, I think he would want to purchase the Lawnmower 4.0. Have you heard of the Lawnmower?
I've heard of it.
Well, the Lawnmower is an incredible piece of machinery created by Manscaped that has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on and off switch, which can engage a travel lock, and it gives you the ability to use a 4,000 K LED spotlight. You can turn it on and off as well, so that way...
A spotlight for your pubes?
Yeah, if a lot of power tools use heavy-duty lights on them because you want to be able to see what you're doing when you're taking care of the most intimate parts of any tool you're working on. And when you're working on the most intimate tool on your body, don't you want to be able to see what you're doing?
Yeah, I would.
You could do it in the dark. You could even do it in the shower. You know why that is?
Why is that?
If you drop the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 in the shower, you probably think it's going to bust, right?
Yeah.
Not going to happen with this bad boy.
No.
Because it's actually waterproof.
Waterproof.
Yeah, you could drop it in the shower. You could drop it in the bathtub. You could drop it in the toilet. It's going to be okay. I mean, I can't promise you that you're going to want urine all over the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Nope. I mean, but you can easily just then dunk it in the sink if you drop it into the toilet filled with piss and put water on it with some soap, clean it right up. We don't necessarily recommend you heavily submerge the Lawnmower 4.0 in water. You don't want to completely destroy it, but I can tell you it is waterproof, and that's a good thing.
It's true.
I don't think he's ever swam in piss, but I guarantee you if Michael Phelps is listening to this podcast right now, he's drooling over the idea of the Lawnmower 4.0. He's swimming in drool thinking about this. He's thinking if I drooled all over the Lawnmower 4.0, it would be perfectly fine. And I think he would drool over the prospect of knowing that if he ordered the Performance Package 4.0, he would also receive the Crop Preserver, the Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver Toner, plus 2 free gifts. You like free stuff?
I do like free stuff.
Well, you're going to get that with Manscaped.com's Lawnmower 4.0 Performance Package because you also get Performance Boxer Briefs and a travel bag.
You know, the Ball Deodorant, though, it's a game changer. Never heard of that before.
Well, if you're going to put deodorant on your armpits, why not put it on the place that's, right by your taint and your asshole? I mean, come on.
You're not wrong.
You think your armpits smell bad. Have you ever taken a whiff of your asshole?
No, I can't bend that far.
Well, you've tried?
Yeah, multiple times.
You could also purchase the Weed Whacker, which is also waterproof, and it's good for unsightly nose and ears hairs. Is that something you deal with, Zach?
I do, big time with my nose.
Yeah? What do you do to take care of that now?
I have a trimmer that's not as good.
You just know it's not.
I just know it's not as good, man. You know how many podcasts this Manscaped's on? A lot. And you know what? It helps thousands, maybe even millions of people around the world, all right?
Well, you need to help yourself, which you haven't done yet. This is the day. I want you to promise me that after I tell you that if you can go on Manscaped.com you could help the podcast simply by using our promo code PARDON. Zach, do you know how to spell pardon?
Is it PARDON?
That is correct.
Oh.
Use promo code PARDON, and you're going to save 20% on whatever you buy and
Whatever I
get
buy.
free shipping.
Free shipping.
Yeah. You like that?
I like that.
Go on manscaped.com right now. I want to watch you do it.
I don't get paid till Friday.
Okay. Well, I better get a text message and a screenshot of the purchase you made from manscaped.com, because not only will you thank me for this helpful advice, but you know what? Your balls are going to thank you.
That's true.
Do you have a name for your balls?
I don't.
Okay, maybe you should think of one.
Do you have a name for your balls?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
All right, I will.
Oh.
The whole piece is called Donatello. It's in honor of the Ninja Turtles. But that's a thing between me and Nicole, okay? That's really none of your business. But I just
right.
put it on a podcast for everybody here, so who
Yeah,
cares?
so
I guess it's out there
for
now.
everyone
Yeah,
now,
okay.
yeah.
So anyways, moving on, manscaped.com. Check out everything they have to offer. Use promo code PARDON. Helps the show. Moving on, we're going to go to the patreon.com exclusive content right now. Here we go. If you are listening on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts, you just missed roughly 20 additional minutes where Zach Thomas, this may shock some people, he told great stories. He showed some charisma as he talked about one of his all-time favorite wrestlers, Razor Ramon, getting to spend a weekend with the bad guy. He really oozed machismo, that being Zach Thomas, as he talked about the man who oozes machismo. And he told some pretty wild stories, one of which involves Chris Benoit, which you can hear on patreon.com/irononwrestling. Zach, I feel like last time you were on the show, you didn't show this confidence that you have right now. What has changed? Is it the longer hair? Is it the mustache that's not connected to a beard? I'm not sure.
Look, two things. Don't call me out on my hair. Don't call me out on my mustache. How about your beard that you dyed the other day, all right? Anyway.
Okay. Wow.
Sorry, I just grow what I can. Sorry, I had to hit you there, man.
He's laughing because he sees my face right now. Yeah, I dyed my beard for the first time, and it's a little too dark. We've talked about it only on Patreon. I specifically edited it out for regular listeners, but I guess it's here now, so
Gotta
whatevs.
use it.
I'm going to trim my beard tomorrow, so maybe I'll try to re-dye it another time, so it looks like it's more natural shade of brown as opposed to dark brown, almost black, like that time Hollywood Hulk Hogan shaved his blonde mustache into just a black beard and it looked like it was painted on. Mine looks a little better than that I think.
We'll see once you shave.
Okay. But thank you for sharing those stories. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Also, going back to the question, because you didn't let me answer, we kind of rambled off, and then
go
you
ahead.
went on your own
Go ahead.
tangent. So my confidence, I don't know where it came from. I mean, I think over the last year and a half with COVID being a thing and wrestling not being fully open, I've studied a lot more promos and stuff of that sort and watching matches. So, like, my in-ring and, promos and my in-ring wrestling ability has, in my opinion, gone a little bit higher than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I feel more comfortable speaking in the ring with promos. Sometimes on camera it's still wonky only because it's weird to think of ideas and stuff of that sort off the top of your head, you know, and you don't always have a specific situation that you're going to address, you know, so I don't know, just kind of came over the last year.
Okay. Well, that's good. You're making progress. You always got to be making progress no matter how deep you are in your wrestling career. You've been doing it like almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
I just hit 15, and I feel like I'm still growing and changing and adapting, and that's important, not just in wrestling, but in life. You always have to change and evolve and get better. That's a very important life lesson that I feel like more people need to come to terms with. It's just like you never truly conquer something completely. There's always another mountain you can climb.
Right.
And that's a very important life lesson. So I'm glad you're understanding that.
Yeah, because there's a saying that we always say in wrestling, or at least a lot of us. I just lost my head. It was a good one. Fuck, man.
I thought he was going to drop this epic quote.
Dude, it was going to be a good one, bro. Hey,
I
that's what
like,
happens when I smoke weed.
okay.
Lose my
See,
brain
I
cells.
thought, I'm like, oh my God, my brother, Zach, who sometimes is a dipshit, is going to drop this like deep, meaningful,
It is, though.
insightful
It's
quote.
on the tip of my tongue, bro.
Oh my God, this is
Um,
very sad.
It is.
What a
guys.
sad moment.
What a sad moment. Oh, I got it.
What?
So it's in wrestling, we always say you never stop learning, no matter how many years you've been in the business. So I feel as if you could use that towards real life. You're never going to stop growing in life, but you're also not going to stop learning in life. You know what I mean? You kind of put two and two together. Because no matter how many years you've been in the business, there's always going to be someone that's been in the business longer than you and is going to have something that can actually help you in the future. You know what I mean? You're looking at me like you're mind blown right now that I just said that or something.
No, my mind's blown because now see, here's what happened. If you would have just said that, I would have been like, wow, that was very intelligent of you to say.
I had to think.
But the fact that you forgot and then you said I had this incredible line that I wanted to hit, but I can't remember it now. I thought to myself, oh no, I wanted to hear this. And now you remembered it, and I'm like, oh, that was kind of lackluster.
I mean, it
Didn't really live up to the hype. I mean, an important life lesson, but it just
yeah.
wasn't the philosophical quote that I was
it's
hoping for.
You know, it's a smarter thing that I've said in my life. Okay,
What do you think is the smartest thing you've said in your
probably
life?
that right there.
Okay. Yikes.
Yeah,
All right. Well, again, more mountains to climb.
of course.
We'll get there. And, we have to get to the interview. Well, it's not an interview, actually. It's just a bonus podcast that we're dropping today. It's the best and the worst moments of the Raw guest hosts. So Aaron and I talked about that. It was going to be exclusively for Patreon, but all you good people out there get to listen to this and free of charge. This is a little sample of what we offer on Patreon. And sometimes, listen, I feel like I don't give you guys crap for free, but sometimes I feel like the Patreon stuff is better than what's being offered on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts. And so I say that to say it's time to go to the best and the worst moments of the Raw guest hosts. And make sure to come back at the end for the outro of the show. Here we go. Patreon.com bonus episode coming at you. And this... I think we got some mic feedback here. Hold on. It's a weird feedback. It's almost like the beat of a song. Oh, okay.
Pardon the interruption. Aaron Bauer is in the house.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to talk about our topic today, which is the Sandman.
That's not the topic.
What? Oh, my run sheet says otherwise.
Where did you get it?
Oops.
Oops, what?
I did it again.
The bonus topic is in Sandman, or how he owes me $10 and is a scumbag of a human. The bonus topic is actually selected this time by Deshaun Toussaint. You know Deshaun.
Oh, I know Deshaun.
Good friend of yours?
I'd love to get in his hot tub with him.
Yeah. Just you and he?
Yeah, that's fine.
How intimate do you think it would get?
How intimate?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where he's willing to go with it. We could do a deep dive into my life if he was, willing to.
Okay. What would you wear into the hot tub?
What do you mean, what would I wear?
Like what would your outfit be?
Why would you wear something? It's a hot tub.
Okay.
You ever been in one before? You back up right into one of those jets. Whoa.
All right.
Meow. Kitty wanna get in a hot tub. Meow.
Well, first of all,
If anybody's still around.
yeah. As we're recording this, I just opened my laptop to edit some shit, and
Hey, wait. Can I ask you something?
sure,
Is it a laptop or a lab top?
it's a laptop.
Okay, because it sits on your lap?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe because you were in the lab. A lot of people call it the lab top.
I don't think anyone calls it that.
I think everybody, well, not everybody, but I think there's a good deal of people that call it a lab top, L-A-B. All right, go ahead.
So I'm frustrated because for some reason the screen on my laptop is broken, which means I can't edit anything, including this week's podcast, including this episode that I'm doing right now. So I'm thinking that I might have to go back to Jordan in the truck.
Oh, J-Dog.
Yeah, and I think the regular episode might drop a little late this week.
Oh, gosh, I hope we can get that out there.
We've never missed a week. Something I pride myself on. Even if we have to drop a bonus episode, we do that. So who knows? This episode might end up as this week's episode.
Wow.
I don't know.
I hope not.
You don't think it's going to be good enough?
No. I'm definitely ready to give you my worst performance.
But I feel like we do some of our best performances on
I
Patreon.
know. Damn it, you're right.
I don't know why you're becoming Vince McMahon.
That's not Vince McMahon.
What was that?
That's me.
That's your voice?
Yeah, I do that voice.
Okay. Anyways, a bonus podcast subject comes from Deshaun Toussaint, who is
Deshaun.
at the $9
$9
tier on Patreon, where, first of all, the bonus content you get on Patreon, I for some reason dropped this for free, I probably should inform you about this. Starting at $3, you get bonus podcast subject from us on the show. It's bonus episodes, extended episodes, early episodes, bonus videos, bonus events, rare events that we put over on the Patreon. $5 and up, of course. $9 and up gets you a bonus podcast subject, as well as Zoom calls at the $5 level. I should probably mention that because we love our Zoom calls on Patreon, where you get to talk with Aaron and I once a month for at least an hour, but 9 times out of 10 goes much longer than that.
I've got to puke.
I've talked to the Patreon subscribers for, I think, almost 3 hours at one point, 1 month, because it was going so well, and we were talking about so much stuff, wrestling, life.
You're fired.
Why are you just saying stuff?
What?
Are you still supposed to be you and not Vince
Yeah,
McMahon?
that's me.
Okay.
That's
So
a
these
lot
are-
of things I say.
These are your catchphrases.
Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
puke, and you're going to puke. And
All right. Anyways,
Fired.
we send you something in the mail every other month on Patreon at $20 and up. You can even pay to be in studio with us on a regular basis if that's something you're
I'm sorry,
into.
wait. You have to pay to be in the studio with us, right?
Some people do, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's good. You know, they get to experience what we do live and in living color.
Do you feel like they get their money's worth?
I think so.
I always felt the same.
But patreon.com/Iron Wrestling is the way to go. But this subject, probably should get to it. It's Deshaun picked a good one for us. He wanted us to talk about Raw guest hosts.
Ooh.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. Did you?
I didn't hate the guest host idea. I think it offered some entertaining, both intentionally and unintentionally, segments on the show.
Who did you like?
Well,
'Cause I got a couple in mind.
well, first and foremost, I want to remind everybody why the guest hosting was even a thing that they did. Do you remember why?
Wasn't it that Vince had sold WWE to Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump was selling it back to Vince, and then they were just going to have random guest hosts? Is
You're
that
pretty much on the money?
Okay.
On June 15th, 2009, former president of the United States, I can't believe that's a thing that I can actually say, Donald Trump bought, quote unquote, bought Monday Night Raw from Vince McMahon. And I believe that was the week that Trump decided to make the show commercial free, which was the first time ever thing. So Donald Trump buys Monday Night Raw from McMahon. Next week, McMahon decides he wants to buy the franchise back for double the money he sold it for when he saw Trump was going to make the program commercial free each week. So Vince didn't want that. But one of the stipulations of this deal was that a celebrity, past or present, could be a wrestling personality, could not be, or anyone for that matter, could serve as the guest host of Raw each week. And, win-win for WWE. They get mainstream celebrities involved in the show, and the celebrities can promote things that they're doing at that time on the program. The concept had, as I said, some good moments and its bad moments. There were some flops involved, and this happened, I believe, through 2009 through 2010. It started as guest host, but at some point they end up transitioning it and calling it guest star, I guess, to have it a more TV-like feel. But there were a lot of guest hosts over time. I'm actually currently looking at a list of the best and the worst guest hosts. Now, before I actually look at this list, though, in your opinion, right off the bat, who do you think, would you say in your personal opinion, it was the worst guest host in the history of Monday Night Raw?
I don't know if I remember the worst. I remember people I enjoyed.
I need someone bad. You can't think of one bad guest host?
I don't know. I think they were all bad. There weren't many that were good.
I got to look up his name, but I remember there being like this really wooden baseball player that hosted one week.
A wooden baseball player?
Yeah, like his
wooden.
His delivery, no charisma whatsoever. He had the charisma of a dish rag. Let me see if I can find him here. Hold on. Johnny Damon from the New York Yankees was the guest host of Monday Night Raw. Do you remember this now?
Barely.
I don't remember any of the segments, but I did find a video that comes up on YouTube right away that says Awkward Moments with Johnny Damon. So I'm going to play it right now. Maybe this will refresh my memory and perhaps the memory of the listeners here. This was also around Christmas time in 2009, I believe. So that sort of sets the tone for this one. So let's listen to some of these.
Oh, this was 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. It was a very, very dark period with personal demons for Aaron in 2009. Here we go. Johnny Damon, Monday Night Raw.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody!
Oh, such charisma.
They can't boo Christmas, what's up? All right. I get some boos. I get some applause. That's all right. World Series champs in Boston and in New York.
All right, he just threw a very bad suck at chop.
I'm not quite sure where I'm going to be at in 2010.
Free agent.
But that doesn't matter because tonight I'm hosting Raw.
Oh.
He's our free agent here.
Raw.
I know what it's like to be a player on a franchise, but tonight I'm in charge of the WWE franchise.
This is so scripted.
Yeah, that's right. And tonight we have a few Secret Santas out there who's going to grant a Raw superstar one wish. So, that being said,
Oh no, what's happening? You like that Affliction button-up he's wearing? Sparkly for that time period? I don't remember this at all. So a tiger costume. A girl's chasing a guy in a tiger costume. Oh boy. Oh, I get it. She's swinging a golf club. I think Tiger Woods just cheated on his wife in real life.
Oh.
You know how Vince loves those topical references at the time. Like during the OJ trial.
That's not what I signed up for. Welcome to You two ladies want to get it on? Well, I say you do the ring tonight.
Okay, now we're backstage. Carlito, Chris Masters, and clearly Sergeant Slaughter is Santa.
You're Sergeant Slaughter. You're not in charge tonight. You can't make any matches. Hey. You guys want to fight tonight? Masters versus Carlito? Hey, it's on. Yeah, that's good. I like it. See you tonight. Good job.
I like it.
Good job.
Wow.
Hey, you guys are unbelievable. Glad you got here in time. Yeah.
Oh, they're under the mistletoe.
Johnny, come on, Johnny. Don't ask, don't tell. Johnny, come on.
Really?
So now we have the Bellas with the man in the tiger costume. This is really bad.
Hey, I paid my taxes. Yeah, right. You baseball players are the biggest tax cheats of them all.
Johnny Damon and IRS, obviously.
Hello, Johnny.
Oh, God. Now we have Mae Young.
Uh-oh.
They're making out.
He's so lucky.
She's making out with his cheek, actually.
That's right. She could have made out with mine.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to win.
It's the ghost of Mrs. Claus.
Yikes.
That's what they call a gilf.
Easy.
Boy, that scared me. Where did he go?
I like how Jerry Lawler just realized it's Mae Young.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
So I don't know if there's a worse guest host than this Johnny Damon. Now, you're a bigger baseball guy than me. What do you know about Johnny Damon? I could tell you that he has zero charisma. I think he sucked the charisma out of everyone else he stood by as well.
Johnny Damon played for Boston and New York, and that was a big deal. And I don't know. He had one of those. He had this look where, like, he smiled, and you should like it, but you don't. He was almost like a Nick Swisher type. Like, it felt like the smile was disingenuous.
Yeah, kind of like everything he said in every promo that he had on that episode of Monday Night Raw. This
Right,
was-
I don't trust him.
That was December 21st, 2009. It, I don't know if it gets worse than that, but I think the most iconic, unintentionally hilarious moment in the history of Raw guest hosts would be that of Jeremy Piven appearing on Monday Night Raw.
Oh gosh, I completely forgot about him.
He had the iconic.
He was doing that movie.
I don't know.
I think he did a movie where he was a used car salesman.
I don't remember the movie. I
Okay.
just remember he was with Dr. Ken. And
Yes.
and he of
And
course,
Dr. Ken, a legit doctor.
Yes, he is. But Jeremy Piven is legit not a wrestling fan because he clearly didn't know that the biggest event of the summer was SummerSlam and not the Summerfest,
Yeah.
as you recall him saying.
Right.
Not the best moment. And see, here's the problem with the guest host thing. I think, fans aren't dumb, and they knew that a lot of these guest hosts were pigeonholed into just being guest hosts, and they didn't actually genuinely enjoy the product.
Right.
And which was the case with old Johnny Damon. They're immediately booing him just because they have no interest in seeing this guy that doesn't care about wrestling.
Right.
So that's that backfires right off the bat. No pun intended.
What did you think about Pee Wee Herman?
You know what? I enjoyed Pee Wee Herman. I like Pee Wee Herman, and that's one of those crossovers that obviously we probably would have liked to have seen that back in the 90s. Probably would have made more sense at that time period.
Or the 80s.
Or the 80s. But it's a crossover that I'm happy that we got at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe a little later than we should have. He also made an appearance at WrestleMania 27. Okay, that's not necessary. But, yeah, I'm okay with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I like Pee Wee. What about Bob Barker?
Bob Barker might be my favorite guest host, and I think that was booked perfectly. Of course, they do the segment where it's Bob Barker doing a Price is Right gimmick. It involves, I believe, Santino, someone else, but also, most notably, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And this is when Chris Jericho is doing his ultra serious, I'm alone on an island surrounded by a sea of hypocrites gimmick, and he gets into a confrontation with Bob Barker, and they all have to wear the Price is Right tags on them. And Jericho's wearing his tights with no shirt, so he's got the tag that says Chris just sort of taped on his chest, and it's probably the most classic Raw guest host moment that I can think of off the top of my head.
Same here. It's when you said guest host, this is the first thing I thought of was Bob Barker and Chris Jericho.
There are so many guest hosts, and at some point I'm going to sort of run down some of these because a lot of these I don't even remember because it was absurd that they did it every week.
Trump,
obviously, that's what got this all started. Was Donald Trump? Let me look through some of the list here. Hold on. Jeez, I didn't even remember this one. Vern Troyer was the guest host on November 30th, 2009. I feel like it was a missed opportunity not to have him have a confrontation with Hornswoggle. Why?
Were they in at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they do that?
I don't know.
Really a drop ball there.
Yeah. They could have done the whole doink and doink thing.
Okay. Well, because they're both little people?
No. Because they're both mainstream stars. You know, Swoggle was in that Muppet movie.
Muppet movie?
Yeah.
I don't...
No? You don't remember?
He was in the Leprechaun.
Yeah, he was in that too. Muppet movie. Look it up, bruh.
I'll look it up. Hold on. I should never doubt you. He was in Muppets Most Wanted as Russian prisoner.
Yep.
Give me another guest host you remember.
I feel like I remember this, but maybe I'm wrong. Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg was a guest host.
And
October 19th, 2009.
What about like LeBron and Shaq or something like that?
Shaq was definitely a guest host. We got that confrontation between Shaq and The Big Show, which everyone thought was going to lead to a WrestleMania match, which didn't happen that year. We eventually get the confrontation in a Battle Royal. I guess a WrestleMania moment, but not really what we all wanted. I guess it was okay.
Yeah.
I believe it was Shaq and Crime Time, which teamed up on that episode of Monday Night Raw against a team of three men who I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably better if I can remember that, though.
Really? Shaq teamed with Crime Time?
Sure did.
Oh, I remember him being like a guest host, but I don't remember that.
He was a guest host on that episode.
That's what I just said. I remember that, but I don't remember the match.
Do you remember Florence Henderson being on Monday Night Raw?
Mrs. Brady?
Yeah, July 12th, 2010. She had a stable of wrestlers that featured Doink the Clown, and she ended up making out with Great Khali.
Okay. Was he the Playboy?
Yes, he was the Punjabi Playboy at the time.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
That was a real thing that happened.
Yeah, no problem.
Pretty
with that.
recently, I saw a clip from that, not knowing the context of it or remembering that it was Florence Henderson, and I thought it was Linda McMahon.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
see how you
saw it,
could-
and I was like, why did Linda McMahon make out with a Great Khali? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I forgot this was a thing that they did. See who we got in the list of Ariel Winter.
Oh, I remember that one. She danced with the Big Show and somebody else in the Rey Mysterio, maybe?
Yeah, she's now known, obviously, for being in Modern Family, but at the time she was in The Chaperone.
The
with
bus
Triple
movie
H.
with Triple H, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the bus movie. I mean,
I
there's a
just
bus
remember he was a
involved.
bus driver, right?
No, he's a chaperone.
He drove the bus.
He does at one point, but he's supposed to be
Okay.
the chaperone.
Yeah, that's all right because he came out of prison
Yes.
and his daughter needed him and
He
he
can't-
was trying to get back into her life. He turned his life around.
Triple H, who can grow a nice real beard, wears a ridiculously big fake beard in the
Yeah.
opening scene because he's in prison, and then it gets shaved completely off. So we get a bare-faced Triple H for the first time in a long time. Looked very much like a Hunter Hearst Helmsley more than a Triple H.
You can't have a beard and be a baby face. You gotta grow a beard to be a heel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some other awkward. Oh God, you want to talk about an awkward guest host? Maybe not at the time so much. I mean, probably not the best choice for a guest host. But do you remember September 17th, 2012? Because the guest host was
2012.
I think.
Wait, they did guest hosts from 09 to 12?
So I think they did it from 09 to 10, but then they occasionally had
Yeah.
guest hosts after. September 17th, 2012. Unless this date is wrong, the guest host,
Mr. T.
much worse. Jared? Oh, you know,
from Subway.
from Subway. Yeah, his Raw appearance lasted just a few seconds, and it was a run-in with Ryback, who, of course, did Feed Me More at the time. So,
Okay.
yeah, Jared.
So
Whatever happened to that Jared guy?
Well,
He's
he
not
had
supposed to
6
for
inches
some-
and the buns.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
Wonder when he gets out of prison.
That I don't know that he does.
I
I-
think he does. I think
He didn't get killed?
no,
Not yet.
No, not yet. He I
He
think
just anally penetrated quite a bit.
I want to say that
And he's probably happy about it.
I want to say that he's serving 10 years in prison. Pretty sure. Let me look here. Yeah, he was convicted on November 19th, 2015. He's currently incarcerated at the Federal Correction Institution of Inglewood, and his earliest possible release date is July 11th, 2029.
Wow.
So roughly 15 years. And that, of course, is for the distribution and receipt of child pornography, traveling to engage in illicit sexual contact with a minor. And his penalty, of course, is 13 to 15 and 2/3 years in federal prison, lifetime of supervised release, $175,000 fine plus forfeiture of $50,000, a total of $225,000, and $1.4 million in restitution. So, yeah, not so good for Jared,
Yeah.
and probably a blemish on WWE's guest host list that they probably would prefer not to have. I think at one point he was actually supposed to do something at a WrestleMania or something, and they pulled him because they had no choice but to pull him. He's going to prison. So, fun stuff. And you thought it couldn't get more controversial than Donald Trump.
Well, where are we going next?
I don't know. Let me look at the list here. This was a pretty ridiculous one.
Was Mr. T a guest host?
Let me look here.
I think I remember him being one.
I am looking, and I am not seeing Mr. T on the list of guest hosts.
Yeah, I didn't say Mr. T.
You definitely did.
I said Mr. P. P.
Also, I want to point out that
Master P.
while the Raw guest host did occur from 2009, 2010 on a weekly basis, it happens periodically all the way up until March 4th, 2019, where the final guest stars of Monday Night Raw would end up being Michael Shea and Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live, of course. But
They were great.
you did have some good periodic ones towards the end there, like Dr. Phil. Always enjoy a good Dr. Phil segment, but also you can't mention Dr. Phil without mentioning at one point as the guest host was Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, is one of those guest hosts that you feel like that crossover should have happened probably about 18 years earlier, during the Attitude Era. He would have worked out so good during that time period in a segment on Monday Night Raw. Am I wrong when I say that?
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
Can you imagine, again, couldn't do this now, probably couldn't do it when Jerry Springer was the guest host at the time, but can you imagine during the time when Mark Henry's going through being a sex addict and he has that incident with Sammy backstage? Who would have been better to host that situation than
Definitely
Jerry Springer? Come on. Val Venus, Choppy your pee-pee, Yamaguchi-san, Springer would have been the guy to have on the show. He could have came on a semi-regular basis. That sounded really weird to say that. He could have came on a semi-regular basis. He could have been on the show on a semi-regular basis. That sounds better.
I ever tell you about my brother-in-law being on the Jerry Springer show?
No, you haven't.
Okay. Paternity test.
Okay.
So he's on the show, and he had told me that he wanted to get a paternity test with the lady he was with. And he felt like the child may not have been biologically his. And so they answered, I guess, the Jerry Springer correspondence or whatever, where they said, anybody who wants a paternity test.
Oh, yeah, you just call the number.
Yeah. So they called the number. From what I understand, Springer and his people got them 2 first-class tickets to Chicago. I think he filmed there. And then 5-star hotel rooms. All meals paid for, comped.
Okay.
All for Jerry Springer. And then I believe each, the male and the female, each got like $300 to $500 spending money.
Okay.
What do they call that? Per diem?
Yeah.
Okay. So they got those things. And he had told me that the way they did it was when you're getting ready to go on the show, on the actual show, even if you're not fighting, like him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever, they weren't fighting. They were getting along perfectly. He just wanted to know.
Yeah.
And he didn't care if it wasn't his or not, biologically, because he knew he had got with her within days of her breaking up with someone else. So he said they put them each in separate rooms, and they had producers come up and go, we're glad you guys get along and everything, but she just kept saying, I think that my ex probably got me pregnant because he's got a real big dick, and the guy I'm with right now, he's real small. He's hung like a pimple.
Oh, a pimple dick. Wow.
and so they would say that to him. And then she had said, they'd go to her and go, he said he's had younger and tighter before.
Yeah.
And then they went back and forth, these producers, to try to get them so amped up that they would clash when Jerry introduced, the guy that was looking to be the father or not the father. And then he had come out. I guess they weren't fazed by it. And Jerry opens the envelope and he reveals, Caleb, you are not the father.
Oh, my God.
And my brother-in-law at the time, it turned to the camera and was like, yeah, that's okay because I still plan on taking care of the baby. I love the baby as if it was mine, biologically.
Oh.
And the whole crowd went from, being like animals to all of a sudden they were like, what a good guy. And they gave him like a standing ovation. They were ready to just pounce on this guy. And then he switched him. So, it actually happened, and that was something that happened in my life.
Wow.
Jerry Springer. I know somebody who was not the father.
I just saw, I love Dr. Phil, I love Jerry, but I don't know if I love anyone as much as I love Maury, because he does a lot of those paternity test shows.
Oh, shit.
And what?
I think it was Maury.
Oh, was it Maury?
I don't think it was Springer.
Whoops. Whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I just saw...
who was filmed in Chicago? I think that was Maury.
I think they were both filmed in Chicago.
All right,
no. Actually, Maury's done in Connecticut. Okay. Springer's in Chicago.
Okay. Well, whatever. Something happened somewhere.
All I know is I've always wanted to go to Springer or Maury because the tickets are free.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just request them.
Right.
So I would love to literally take a trip. I mean, I've taken trips to get punched in the face for no money to Chicago and Connecticut. So, do you remember when they had the Three Stooges as the Raw guest hosts?
No.
You don't remember this?
Nope.
Are you confused by me saying that the Three Stooges were the guest hosts of Monday Night Raw?
Three Stooges. Was it like Patterson, Briscoe, and Slaughter?
No.
Okay.
They remade the Three Stooges movie.
Oh!
Yeah, so they had...
Yes, that one dude.
So,
you tell me.
The other two guys don't matter.
Was Will Sasso in it?
Will Sasso
Yeah.
was one of the Three Stooges. He played Curly.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only thing I popped for because I like Will Sasso. I loved Mad TV. And
I never liked that show.
you never liked Mad TV?
Nope.
Why not?
I didn't think it was that good.
You didn't like anything about Mad TV?
Not really.
Like Stewart, look what I can do. You didn't like that?
No, I thought that was annoying, and I just didn't like
You
it.
never liked Miss Swan?
I don't know what that is.
He look like a man.
Oh, yeah, not funny at all to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about
Me?
Nicole,
What about Raven?
Nicole Sullivan, the blonde on the show?
Mhm.
I always thought she was real cute and real into her.
Yeah, maybe she was.
Me and
Not enough to keep my attention.
Me and Jake Matthews, who used to run Top Rope Tuesday, who would end up selling his empire to Pro Wrestling Tees. We had a running gag all the time where we would tweet at Nicole Sullivan hoping to get a response, and one day I actually got a response, so I'm the man. And Jake's
Congratulations
not
on all your
out there.
success.
So you didn't like Mad TV, but you like Will Sasso.
I thought some stuff he did was okay.
So
Is
besides...
he a listener?
I don't think so.
Okay, then, F him.
Will Sasso did some stuff in not only the WWE
Yeah.
on this episode of Monday Night Raw, and years earlier he dressed up as Stone Cold Steve Austin during his What phase, and they had a confrontation which was pretty legendary on SmackDown. But he was also doing stuff in WCW. Do you remember that at all?
A little bit.
During the feud between Bret Hart and Roddy Piper in
Yeah.
1999, Bret had appeared on Mad TV for, I believe, like the second time, and so they did a crossover thing where I believe Will Sasso and also Deborah Wilson, who was the African-American actress from the show, appeared on WCW, and they were helping Bret Hart win his matches, and it's just a real weird situation, but Will Sasso, big wrestling fan, and even though the Three Stooges movie maybe wasn't the most memorable thing in the world, and obviously they were on there as the Three Stooges to cross-promote this film, I always enjoy seeing Will Sasso, and I think he's grossly underrated.
Didn't he wrestle Brett?
He
Did
might
they
have
have a match?
They might have actually had a match.
I don't know if it was an official match. I can't remember, but I seem to remember like Bret Hart putting Will Sasso in a sharpshooter.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
And I always wondered, like, how was that pitched to Brett? Like, you're going to have a match with this actor.
I'm sure he didn't care.
Really?
Nah, I don't think. I mean,
He might have took the challenge on. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
yeah.
Brett,
I could see Brett doing
but
that.
Brett's smart when it comes to things like that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I bet he got paid a shitload.
Oh, 100%. And also, I think when you think of crossover wrestlers as far as celebrities and doing movies and other stuff, you really forget that Brett did a lot of cool stuff. I mean, so Lonesome Dove probably wasn't the coolest show in the world, but I remember watching him when he was on
Wasn't
it.
the worst thing.
But like he wasn't bad on it.
Yeah.
He made an appearance on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back in the day when that was a TV show, and of course maybe his more memorable role was his brief cameo in The Simpsons. I mean, even Brett knew, just like the popularity of The Simpsons, and obviously he was a big fan as well.
Look, there's still I see wrestling dollies of Bret Hart as
that character,
as the way the animators drew him.
And the story goes, Brett was actually casted in that episode of The Simpsons as just a regular generic wrestler. Yep. Okay, so Aaron pulled it up on his phone. We got a Monday Nitro from 2/15/1999 on the way to Super Brawl 9. They end up doing that match between him and Will Sasso with Deborah Wilson. See, I was right. But so Brett was actually casted as just a random made-up wrestler trying to buy Mr. Burns' house in that episode of The Simpsons. But when Brett came in to record his voiceover, so many people recognized who he was, and the producers of The Simpsons didn't realize the name value that Brett had. They decided that they were going to change it to Bret Hart. And he was just going to be himself, which made the most sense. So when you go back and listen to Bret Hart doing his audio, he didn't realize that they were going to use him as himself. So if he seems a little bit weird in the way he's vocalizing, it's because he thought he was going to be this generic made-up character. And currently Aaron is showing me the match between Will Sasso and Bret Hart as if I did not believe him.
I just want you to see. I told you that I remembered him being in the sharpshooter.
I'm watching. Here we go.
Okay.
You got him in sharpshooter?
A lot of times you call me old.
I think
And yes, I may
you are
be
old. It's very true.
But at least I do remember some shit.
Yeah, it doesn't change back to your old. What about one of the more memorable ones that almost didn't happen? It sort of barely happened in the way that it occurred. He was originally announced as social media ambassador for the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw, but then he got rid of his social media just before the show, and he ends up only appearing via Skype, Charlie Sheen.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
July 23rd, 2012, and it's more infamous for the fact that he ends up issuing a challenge to one Daniel Bryan. And the original plan was for that year's SummerSlam to be Daniel Bryan versus Charlie Sheen. And for whatever reason...
Was it?
Yeah, it was a real thing. We never got to have it. Can you
What? I
imagine
can't
that,
even
though?
believe. Yeah, Wild Thing.
That would have been an interesting scenario, to say the least.
Daniel Bryan probably looked at that as an opportunity.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get through this match, and people aren't gonna. It's not gonna be bad. I'm gonna lead. Oh man, that could have been crazy.
What could have been? I don't really remember what he did on the show, but Aaron Paul was one of the guest hosts from Breaking Bad. I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
I watched. I want to say it was the first season, and then I just. I may have lost cable or something.
Okay.
And then I never watched again, and then I never got back into it.
Well, the whole show exists in its entirety on Netflix.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, but it's
I feel like it's something you should give a
I
shot.
got sports to watch and stuff.
Oh, come on. I would say Breaking Bad is arguably the greatest show of all time.
Nah.
You
Really?
haven't even watched it.
I watched first season. It was good.
It's really good.
Okay.
I think.
Well, I know how much you like your drugs, so.
You don't have to like drugs to watch the show, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, but for me, if I watch a show like that, I start to crave. Isn't that fucked up?
You know, one of my favorite movies of all time when it comes to holiday
Home
films
Alone.
is, well, yeah, I like Home Alone, but I was going to say Jingle All the Way.
Different Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I know you too well.
Yeah. Jingle All the Way is a classic. But who will ever forget the sequel, Jingle All the Way 2?
Yeah.
Starring-
With the cable guy?
Yes.
Yes!
Didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger this
Nope.
time around. We had Larry the Cable Guy and Santino Marella, and they ended up being the guest host for Monday Night Raw on November 24th, 2014. Did you see Jingle All the Way 2?
Yep. I bought it
So did I.
for my son.
And you know what?
Well, you bought it for yourself.
I bought it for
as an
myself.
adult man.
Yep, I didn't wait till it got marked
Bought
down.
it for my 6-year-old son at the time.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
paid $15 for it, and it was about $14 too much. I'll tell you that. It's only a sequel to Jingle All the Way in name. There's no relation to the first film whatsoever,
Nah.
and I really don't remember anything about it. So that tells you how much I enjoyed that movie.
And you're a big WWE movie guy too.
Yeah, but
Like
probably
I feel like a lot of times you're like, "Oh, this movie was great,"
That's
and
not.
and it's not.
that's I've
You know,
never.
oh, Santa with muscles. You thought that was bad?
That's
Oh.
not a WWE film though.
It still is.
No, if it's got to be under the WWE film umbrella.
Okay.
I don't know if there was ever a WWE film that I was like, this is really good.
You know, First and Second Marine were my favorite movies
I
of all time.
don't think the Marine is that bad. I would never say that's a favorite. See No Evil is okay.
What was that one with Halle Berry in it? She was like a
It's called
dispatcher.
The Call.
Yes, I thought that was a great movie.
I never saw that one.
Oh man, now we're gonna have to watch it.
You think it's that good that we have to watch it? I don't feel like
I
this
really
is like-
liked it.
I feel like this isn't like next Friday or Friday after next. where
You're
it's like,
right, you're
yo,
right.
You never
Let's
saw
save.
these.
Yeah, we'll save our time, and yeah, you can watch Pootie Tang with me next week.
I've never seen Pootie Tang.
Can we do a Pootie Tang watch long? Words I never thought I'd ever say in my
Do
life.
people want that?
I think they would. Let's put it out there. Do you guys want to? I can't even say it for real.
Yeah, you're just laughing it up over here.
Do you guys want us to do a Pootie Tang watch along?
Do you remember when Al Sharpton was the guest host? Of
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now that you bring it up,
September 28th, 2009.
the
Just-
Reverend.
Yep, just real absurd that they would even do that.
You remember when it was announced? I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, well, I feel like there's a lot of those wait whats when you look at. some
Hey,
of the
didn't
stuff.
Ashton Kutcher?
He did.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the guest host thing,
Yep.
which again, it just feels like that would have worked out better in the early 2000s.
Or in the 70s.
There was no Raw in the 70s.
Yeah, but he was in the 70s show.
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh, okay. If they did a Raw 70s throwback.
How'd you feel about Buzz Aldrin guest hosting Monday Night Raw?
You're bringing this up, and now I'm remembering. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that was
Yep.
something else there.
Well, the best part is he's an American astronaut, and they make him the guest host in Canada.
I like that, too.
You know, makes a lot of sense. I mean, I guess you don't need to be American to appreciate what Buzz Aldrin did,
Yeah.
but I mean, it might have helped a little bit. You know, it's like when Jim Duggan at WrestleMania 6 was out there being a babyface with the American flag, trying to start USA chants. You
In
know what I mean?
Canada?
It's just kind of
Weird.
weird. Yeah, it doesn't really translate too well. Let me see.
North America. That's a way they could have got around it.
I'm now realizing why you thought Mr. T was a guest host of Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
Because on June 7th, 2010, the A-Team from the remade movie, the A-Team, was on Monday Night Raw. And, of course, the
Was that Tyson somebody?
dude that played Mr. T was Rampage Jackson.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the
yeah,
UFC.
that's right.
Yeah, so that's why you thought
Yeah.
that Mr. T was a guest host.
Well, he technically was, so
Mm.
I'm technically right. Mr. T was a guest host.
I feel like you're not.
What's the difference? It's just like Razor and Diesel.
Oh, the fake ones that they brought in '96?
They weren't fake. They still own the copyright to that name.
You're going to defend that.
I thought it was a tremendous angle.
Yeah. How so?
Well, Diesel and Razor came back under the tutelage of Jim Ross.
Yep. Take a good look at my face.
What a fucking shit show that was.
What do you think was the worst heel turn? Was it this one or the one he does in '99 with Bart Gunn, where he aligns with Dr. Death? He has his own announce table. That's his JR with the
That's
strap.
why that one rules.
I feel like that's the better one, actually. And they go to the house party, and Dr. Death beats the fuck out of like a bunch of college kids at the house party. It doesn't even
I
seem
like
like that seems like a fever dream of a thing that happened. Like when I say that, people are like, "No, you're making that up. That's a real thing."
No, yeah, that
And
was great.
he had his own announce table built next to the announce table. It said JR.
It was like a little card table.
yeah, it was great, man. Bart Gunn, take a good look at my face. What do you think of my face, Bart?
Give you a
You
goddamn push.
like beating up
Push.
my boy, Dr. Death, huh? What do you think of that?
What was worse, the Oklahoma parody or actually Jim Ross with Dr. Death?
I mean, obviously it not only is it offensive to JR in retrospect, there's a lot of things that he did that were offensive just to people in general. like when they do the piñata on a pole match for a bunch of luchadors, and he's just at ringside going piñata, 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 oh, like it's just real bad, real cringy,
Right.
Not good at all. But wow, we got on a tangent here, but that's what we do on Patreon. It also, this is the first subject we've done in a while where we haven't done multiple subjects, and we're almost an hour into this one. This is Deshaun, you picked a good one here, man.
Give me a couple more real quick.
What about, do you remember David Hasselhoff?
Barely. I know it sounds familiar.
So he ended up coming in for one of the shows in London, which
That's
makes
right,
sense
because he's very popular there.
He's more popular overseas. Always been that way. Europeans love David Hasselhoff.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Europeans.
Oh, I thought you called me a penis.
I
I
didn't.
thought you said you're a penis.
No. I didn't say that.
Okay. I'm questioning.
I was
Jordan in the truck. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Oh, definitely penis. Okay, thank you.
I was a big Baywatch fan and Knight Rider fan as a kid.
Yeah, I love Knight Rider.
So
I'm
good.
surprised you're old enough.
I wasn't, but
Okay,
the reruns were on,
okay.
So I mean, and
No, I watched the debut episode. I remember my grandparents took me to this buffet, and they kept telling me, when we get home, we're going to be home by 8 o'clock. There's this brand new show coming on. It's about a car that talks. What?
mind blowing.
What? I can't wait. Let's get home. And we got back to their house, and they put on this. First of all, you had one of those remote controls that it was one button, and it turned the TV on and off. Then me being the kid, I'd have to go and change the physical channel dial on the television.
Sure.
But we got this show in, and it was Knight Rider, and man, that was the coolest stuff I ever seen.
Well, you know what I didn't realize until years later, that the voice of Kit
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that
was
up.
Mr. Feeney.
Yes, it was.
I don't know why I didn't put two and two together, but that made
Yeah,
me
but
love
why
it
would
more.
you? You
don't
wouldn't think
know.
to do. Nobody should think to do that. I mean, there was so many years in between. But
Sure.
yeah, I mean, once somebody says it, then you go, oh my God, yes, that's it.
Yeah. But, of course, I love Baywatch as a young, horny teenager who is, discovering his body. Big fan.
I was never into it.
What?
I never liked Baywatch. I can't tell you one episode. Oh, no, wait. I know one episode I watched.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you're gonna
Because
say.
you and I watched it together at the place we worked together. That's the kind of job we had. Though. We could sit and watch. You would watch marathon Baywatch episodes.
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
But the episode you're thinking of is obviously where they had the WCW wrestlers.
definitely.
But the best part of that episode, to me, because I appreciate the unintentional comedy that comes along with all this, is the so they're doing this angle set around WCW wrestlers, and like they're trying to like Ric Flair's trying to like buy an orphanage or some bullshit, like whatever. So,
He's trying to close the local
it's
children's facility.
So fucking absurd. And this episode doesn't air until like '96, and Vader's in it, and he's long gone out of WCW.
Yeah.
But the side plot and the ending of the episode, after all this absurdity with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Ric Flair, one of the girls reveals that she has skin cancer at the end of the episode, and it ends just an unfortunate ending to the episode. And you're like, oh fuck, I didn't expect this on the pro wrestling episode of Baywatch. Jesus. But you know what was also cool about that, as a fan, the crossover with Baywatch bleeds into Bash at the Beach 1995. So obviously they feature a lot of the footage from Bash at the Beach 95 in that episode, but it was cool that they actually did that Bash at the Beach on a beach.
Why was Brian Pillman Baywatch Brian? Was he on the Baywatch show? I can't remember.
He was not.
They called him Baywatch Brian for a while.
I don't remember that.
Okay, you can look it up.
I'm not questioning you.
No, okay. So the other thing, I did have a second episode of Baywatch that I really remember.
Okay.
And I want to say the girl from Charles in Charge, Nicole Eggert.
I got to look her up, but I remember I used to watch Charles in Charge, but I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah.
I just liked the song.
Okay, no, I was a huge fan. So she is on Baywatch, and somebody close to her dies, and then comes back as a ghost or something like that during the show, and you can see that there's a ghost haunting her.
Oh, no.
Do you remember this at all?
No.
Oh, really good stuff. Classic.
I was also a fan of the Baywatch spinoff, Baywatch Nights. I was a big, where basically at night David Hasselhoff is like a undercover PI detective. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
How does this man have time to be a father, a lifeguard, and an undercover agent all at the same time? That's a lot. I mean, come on. How'd you feel about William Shatner as the guest host on February 1st, 2010?
I always thought that guy kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
What?
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan. But I hated Star Trek. I like Star Wars. I hated Star Trek.
See, you're this is going to be one of those things where you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're like 10 years younger than me. William Shatner was never the Star Trek guy to me. He was the Rescue 911 guy to me.
I completely forgot about that. I would never even thought of that until you just said it.
Like, coming up next on Rescue 911. Like, that's who he was to me. He was Rescue 911 guy.
Okay.
He was not Star Trek man.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I would watch Rescue 911 all the time as a kid in syndication.
Oh, man.
Yes, right? It makes you feel old, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So,
man. Yeah, this dude was in a yellow shirt, mustard yellow shirt on
Yeah, or it was like a jacket or something.
Enterprise.
So, I want to point out, I think we talked about this before. William Shatner is 90 years old.
He's alive?
Yes, and he's 90.
Oh, congratulations on all his success.
But he doesn't look 90.
I don't know the last time I've seen him.
He was on the bump not too long ago on his birthday, celebrating his 90th birthday.
Wow.
And when he said he was 90, I was like, holy fuck. Like, if you would have told me he was like 55, I would be
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, for sure he's 55.
Wow.
He does not look 90 years old. Like, I don't know what type of blood he's drinking or whatever, that he's like, maintaining such a youthful presence, but I would not guess 90.
Wow.
Right?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
But
What do you want me to do?
to go back to February 1st, 2010, he was the guest host of the night, obviously. He did a bunch of segments, which included interacting with Show Miz, the Straight Edge Society. But I think the most memorable part of that, he does some backstage segment where he is, in only a way that William Shatner can do, singing current entrance themes like John Cena, Triple H, or Your Time Is Up, My Time Is Now.
Yeah, he was great for that. I love that gimmick because I always thought that would be funny if somebody did, like, rock songs, but in, that classical type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the guy doing it. I think it was great.
Do you remember when Mark Cuban was the guest host of Monday Night?
Yes. Now that you say that, yes. Didn't he put somebody through a table or maybe there was a tables match?
So it was the go-home show for John Cena and Sheamus.
Yes.
This is Sheamus is getting his first push, and inevitably he ends up winning his first WWE Championship at TLC, which most people thought was a mistake the way they do the finish during the pay-per-view. And they didn't think Sheamus was supposed to win, but he definitely was. But, so Cuban ends up getting into a confrontation with Sheamus, and then Sheamus responds by putting him through the table.
Okay.
Which see, here's why Cuban is one of the best guest hosts, because he's an actual fan.
Yeah.
And not only did he do this spot, which I think earned a lot of respect from the WWE universe. Go back a little bit. His first appearance on WWE television in ring was actually Survivor Series 2003 with Randy Orton. Do you remember this at all?
I think I do.
This is when Randy's killing legends, and Cuban gets in the face of Randy Orton. He ends up taking an RKO.
Yeah.
And I think they do this because they're in Dallas, and he owns the Mavericks.
Right.
It's his arena, and blah blah blah. But one of the better guest hosts for sure.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
What about Iron Mike Tyson? January 11th, 2010. Do you remember this at all?
Man, that barely rings a bell.
It was his reunion with D-Generation X, and instead of punching out Shawn Michaels this time, like at WrestleMania 14, he ends up punching out Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, now I remember.
Which, of course, they do the callback recently in AEW, where this is, I can't remember if him confronting Jericho is before or after he's shown on camera yawning during AEW, which just
I don't know that.
inconvenient timing while on camera to be yawning as the match is going on. But always good to see Mike Tyson a part of the action again. Why is he one of the best guest hosts? Well, A, because it's Mike Tyson, but B, the dude loves wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude makes references to, Bruno Sammartino. That's how far he goes back, and just a big fan of professional wrestling.
Who else?
Well, Mike Chioda always says that he walked up to Mike Chioda and said, "Mike Chioda, how you doing?" And he's like, "You know my name." Big fan of Mike Chioda, apparently.
Who's like maybe somebody that was a main eventer?
Cold Stone.
Yeah, thank you.
Was one.
Took the scenic route to get there. A little slow today, Greg.
I have cerebral palsy. Don't talk to me that way.
Okay. Don't cancel me.
Now, some may say this is one of the best guest host appearances, but I don't know, because I'm indifferent about the film. Do you remember the film MacGruber?
A little bit. I might have watched it one time, but can't even barely remember. The guy had a mullet and.
So, MacGruber is an SNL skit.
Oh, he was guest host.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was based off of MacGyver, obviously.
Right.
And so the guest host ends up being MacGruber, which is Will Forte, and Vicky St. Elmo, who's Kristen Wiig. And they're in a bunch of hilarious segments. I honestly don't remember these segments being that bad, but the movie itself. I wasn't a fan. When it came out, me and Johnny went to see it in the theater because we're like, oh, we should go see MacGruber. We never go see movies. Let's go see MacGruber. And there were WWE wrestlers in it, so we're like, okay. And literally, me and Johnny are so mature and we laugh at anything.
Yeah.
We didn't laugh at anything in this movie except for there was a scene with Val Kilmer, which I can't even remember what it was. And we were like crying laughing at that scene, but that's it. So years later, and he will die on this sword. Zach Gowen thinks MacGruber is the funniest movie ever made. And all the time he's like, yo, man, you got to give MacGruber another try. I don't know why you don't like it. I was like, bro, it's not funny.
Yeah.
And he's like, I swear it's the funniest movie ever. And then a couple years back, I tweeted about how MacGruber is not good and how Zach Gowen puts it over. And the funniest part was the director of the film favorited the tweet. And I looked at it and I was like, I didn't realize who it was because he was like a verified account. I look at him and he's like director of MacGruber in his profile. So I'm like, this insecure fuck daily is just Google it or Twitter searching, vanity searching MacGruber to see someone like me shitting on it just to be like, I saw it, favorite. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's weird, dude. But yeah, not a big. Maybe I got to give MacGruber another shot, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. I can't even barely remember it, so it didn't make an impression on me. But I also remember that I did watch it. I can't tell you details of it, but maybe there was like a gum wrapper involved or something like that. And I should give it another shot.
Maybe you should.
I remember thinking it wasn't not funny. Like, there were parts I laughed. But, you know, like your story with Johnny, I remember going to Dumb and Dumber with a friend of mine and thinking, we didn't laugh one time. And we're people who laugh at dumb stuff all the time.
I can't believe you.
Yeah, and we left the movies and we were like, that was so disappointing.
And
then, years later, I watched it by myself. Just because it was like on, or you know, I had a free rental or something. Man, I laughed nonstop.
I don't know how you couldn't have liked it the first time.
I don't know. And I was with somebody who liked to laugh.
It's
and we were
good.
Jim Carrey fans, and this friend of mine, he tried to mimic Jim Carrey a lot. You know, he tried to make his facials and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, this is the perfect person to see the movie with.
How?
And we went there, and we were just like,
Dude.
Oh, I thought this was supposed to be funny.
How did Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
In his first, it's not his first film. His first film comes out in like 86 or something like ridiculous. But it's like a shit film. I forget what it's called, like Rubber Man or Rubber Face or something. but his first major films.
Yeah.
In 1994, 3 in 1 year.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura.
Right.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
And The Mask.
Yeah.
Can you have a better 3-film appearance in 1 year?
You know, maybe only The Rock.
Maybe.
Because The Rock went number 1 on like everything for years.
Yeah.
All of his first movies. But man, Jim Carrey, I mean, what can you say? The dude was on fire. And he was on In Living Color.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought he was all right there, but
I loved him on Living Color. I was a big fan of In Living Color as a kid.
You liked In Living Color?
Yeah, in retrospect, I didn't understand a lot of the stuff they were doing because I was a kid, but I would always go on my way to watch it. But also, my parents were not the best because like they let me watch The Simpsons and Living Color. I was always watching the shit on Fox that you shouldn't be watching, like Married with Children. So
I remember watching In Living Color just because it was on and it was supposed to be edgy and Fox was relatively still new. But at the same time, I didn't like it because it wasn't live. Saturday Night Live was live. Same thing like with your Mad TV. I didn't like it. It felt like global wrestling compared to World Wrestling Federation. So,
I guess when you put it like that, I can understand to an extent.
yeah, so it wasn't fair for me because I was already going in with like a prejudice. Not Because the show is full of black people.
Yeah. I'm glad you made that clear because I was like, that's why I hesitated.
A prejudice that like you're taped and Saturday Night Live is live.
Yeah, because if you would have went down the path of like a prejudice, because I just don't see how they could have put so many African Americans in one show. I was not about that. I'd be like, okay, well, we're gonna have to edit that out of this episode. She's KKK carrying member over here. Aaron didn't even realize it. Jesus, man, come on. And Living Color was a great show. I used to love watching it, and like so many great comedians came out of that show. And
Damon Wayans is one of my favorite actors ever in comedies. I mean,
so good.
Major Payne is such of I don't know. I don't think it gets its just due.
It's definitely underrated.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And he's great in it. And then Last Boy Scout. People shit all over that movie. I thought it was fun.
People, I think, forget about that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great. Now, we talked a lot about celebrities that guest host Raw, but obviously there were also some wrestlers that guest host Raw. One of which at one point was Roddy Piper, who ends up having a confrontation with Randy Orton.
Right.
And this is around the time where
Jared Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, he's like fun kicking people and shit. You want to talk about someone that's got to confront Randy Orton, that's a legend, but you want it to be believable even though he's old and maybe not what he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Piper was the go-to guy.
Yeah.
Had to be. Like, even when you brought back Piper's Pit, even in those later years, it felt like must-see TV. And maybe it was because that was the original talk show segment in wrestling. But it was just...
well, it was Piper. You never knew. He was unpredictable.
For sure. I mean, that's what it was all about.
He would just say random crazy shit. Or even, as much as people shit on it, maybe rightfully so, but him painting himself half black. I mean, I thought it was distasteful at the time. As a young kid, I thought, well, I don't know about this at all. I'm not comfortable with it. But Roddy Piper made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was on purpose because sometimes you come back for that kind of stuff. I don't know if I like this. I'll come back and try it again.
Right.
It's like anal sex or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nothing.
Giving or receiving?
Either way.
March 15th, 2010, Stone Cold Steve Austin was also the guest host of Monday Night Raw. And he was perfect for the segment that he was put in because it is for the contract signing between two men that were such important roles in making the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. That being Vince McMahon and Bret the Hitman Hart. Do you remember this segment?
Barely.
This is where around the time Bret was supposedly in a car accident. He had an injured leg. And so Vince now wanted to wrestle him at WrestleMania because he thought Bret was in a prone situation. And so Bret agreed to sign the contract. And then they do a thing where once Vince does it, he gets all cocky, and then he turns around and he looks back, and Bret has taken the cast off his leg, and he realizes, oh no, I'm fucked.
I've been had.
Yep. Bret is fine, and having Stone Cold's involvement in that was perfect. And, during that night, he ends up confronting one of his most memorable WrestleMania opponents, Shawn Michaels, as we're in the lead up to his match with The Undertaker, and this could be the end of Shawn Michaels' career. It's just it's good stuff, and I want to say that's the Monday Night Raw where we also got the CM Punk Stone Cold confrontation, which Austin's talking about beer, CM Punk straight edge, and he offers him a beer, and CM Punk's like, obviously no. Just good stuff, and I think a lot of people thought that we were gonna. I mean, even following that for a long time, we were hoping if Austin were to come out of retirement, it's got to be against CM Punk.
Yeah.
And that's one of those dream matches that we're probably never going to see. Austin's almost 60 at this point.
It's like Austin Hogan.
Yeah.
We've had it.
I
think we had it in WCW maybe.
No.
Or we had it in a 6-man tag in WWE.
3-on-2. It was on
Okay,
Monday Night
that's
Raw.
right.
NWO versus Rock and
and
Austin.
Yep,
And which,
okay.
when they booked that on Raw, I was like, holy shit, this is a big match to
Yeah.
book on Raw, you know? But that worked out well. But I also think probably the most memorable wrestler guest host had to be, without question, Bret Hart when he made his return.
Oh, yeah.
January 4th, 2010. I think that was in Dayton, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
What a moment. What an emotional thing, because you got the tease for Bret coming back so many times
Right.
that even when that music hit, you weren't really sure if you were going to actually get Bret Hart walking down the
Right, a
ring.
lot of times you get like a little person.
Yeah. A little person, or Shawn Michaels is just in Montreal and he wants to troll the crowd,
Right.
so he hits the music. And but yeah, when he comes back on January 4th, and I think what made me not even believe it in that moment either, his return back, they changed the way his music sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a remix version of it, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, who's fucking coming out? But it's Bret, jorts and all. He's back.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was a lot of closure involved that night. Obviously, it's the beginning of his march to the match with Vince McMahon,
Mhm.
but to see the moment he has with Shawn Michaels, the emotion that brings, and you sort of close this. It's been like what? This is 2010, so since
Yeah.
'97, you got this 13 years since Montreal, and it's just emotional. Nice to see those two guys hug.
I never believed it.
You didn't believe that moment?
I mean, like, Brett looks pissed. Or, like, I'll be tolerable of this.
Yeah.
because,
No, I agree. I agree.
like, I'm getting paid for it, and
Yeah.
this is a moment, and I'm a professional wrestler that lives for moments.
Yeah.
But it was like Sean was, like, real deep into it. Looked like he was probably saying some nice things, and Brett looked like he was just like, all right. They should have filmed it from the other way. Because I bet Sean looked happier than what Brett did.
But also for me, the only thing that I don't know if I should be critical about it. I don't know if critical is the right word. But for me, and wrestling evolves, people change, obviously. I didn't like... I guess I don't like the outfits that they wore in that segment.
Okay.
Because we're getting like 2009 Shawn Michaels, and he's in like his baggy DX gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And he's wearing like his... I don't know. I just wish there was like some other different attire. And Brett's wearing the jorts. Even though that was his thing that he used to wear,
Yeah.
I think at some point you got to sort of change your style a little bit. Some people, it still works for me if they get older. Like if you're a little bit like punk rock and like grungy as you get older, like you could sort of still pull off that style. But I don't know if Brett's style in the 90s lends itself to 2021 or at this point 2010.
Yeah.
You know, does that make sense?
No,
don't wanna
I
seem
agree
like
with
a
you.
dick. Like
Yeah.
he's just wearing like really baggy Jinko looking shorts
Yep.
in 2010, and I'm just like, you're like 60 years old, man.
Was he?
I mean,
He wasn't
he's
60.
like 50.
Okay.
Still, come on.
AJ Styles like 50. John Cena's 50.
AJ's like 44, I think.
Okay.
Close enough, I guess. Any other guest hosts you want to talk about? I guess one more that I want to
Muppets.
The Muppets were great. I mean, I love the Muppets, man.
Sorry, I got excited for that one.
Oh, yeah, I could
As
tell.
soon as you said it, I was like, oh.
Muppets,
yeah.
you've been holding on to that
Yeah.
one. Muppets, got to get it in. I mean, yeah. I mean, I love the Muppets. Again, I'll. As much as I love the Muppets, though, I love the
host.
Muppet Babies more.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can't have them be the guest host of Monday Night
Were they
Raw.
the cartoons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to watch them when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I like that show.
it was great.
Yeah. I think it would come on right before Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Who's your favorite Muppet Baby?
Animal.
Wrong choice.
Why? Who was yours?
Fozzie.
Skeeter?
Fozzie.
Oh.
Either Fozzie or Gonzo.
Yeah. Not Gonzo.
Why not?
Gonzo's a dick.
Why are you a dick?
Fuck him.
I just liked Fozzie because he was funny, and
He's just a cute bear.
they would throw the tomatoes at him.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Right.
Like laughing at him.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with him.
I mean, I like Kermit, but
I
that's
like
like
Baby Animal.
That's like an easy pick, Kermit.
Yeah. Kermit was whack too. He was like Ross on Friends was like modeled after Kermit. I feel like.
Yeah, I could see that.
Who cares if Piggy is fucking animal on the side?
Wow, Jesus.
Not when they're babies. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, do you think that Miss Piggy, maybe she bounced around a little bit? Because Otis Koger sort of referred to that in the episode a few weeks back. He said he didn't know if Miss Piggy was loyal to Kermit.
Nah, I wouldn't believe she was. I mean, I don't know a loyal female.
Wow. Okay, wow. Now you're really segregating the audience here. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know a loyal male either.
The
Everybody's as loyal as their options.
We've lost the 5 female listeners to the show. It's unfortunate. One more wrestler guest host that I want to talk about was the return of Jesse Ventura as a guest host.
Ooh, good one.
Only because when they do this, which of course the date that it took place was November 23rd, 2009, the most important thing that happened was it was the return of Vince and Jesse on commentary. But my critique was, because it was for some sort of battle royal, it seemed like Vince probably knew a little bit better because it's his product, for Christ's sake. But Jesse seemed to have no current product knowledge. And it was
I
just,
do remember that.
It was a little awkward. But to see them in their old outfits, that was
that
cool.
was sweet. I remember that, yeah.
To hear
that was memorable. They give you moments, and that was a moment.
Yeah, just to hear Jesse and Vince banter for the first time since, 1990? It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, man.
Right. Well, okay, if they were to announce that there was a pay-per-view next month, okay, say it was Great Balls of Fire. Okay. And WWE announced no matches going into it. But they announced that Vince and Jesse would be doing commentary.
100% watch.
Right?
But that's nostalgia.
Right?
You know what's funny, though?
I'd go back to the cock for it.
What?
The Peacock Network. I mean, I've canceled it. So I'd take it right back. I'd take it all.
Okay. Every inch, huh? Why are you laughing?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Whatever.
What am I doing?
We've made several innuendos on this episode that were just uncalled for, that we would not do on the free version. For some reason, we do it here on Patreon.
We get amped up for Patreon.
Oh, boy. Where did I want to go from there?
It's about Bret Hart.
We were talking about guest host. Jesse
nostalgia.
Ventura. You know what I wonder about nostalgia, though? I mean, it's got to be the case. Because, I meet these young kids now that are like 18, 19, 20. I was just talking to a kid this weekend. And, again, I have appreciation for it, but I was like older. But I'm wondering about the next generation. I go, what's your first wrestling memory? He's like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then somehow we got on the subject of the invasion that just happened. He's like, oh, like that was the first pay-per-view I was alive for. Was Invasion, because he was born in like the end of June 2001.
Yeah,
he's like, and as a kid, my dad had it on tape, so I would always watch RVD versus Jeff Hardy, and that's like one of my favorite matches. And I'm just like, that's so weird. But like, when Alex Daniels got into wrestling, I'm just like, what's your first wrestling memory? And he's just like, oh man, Jeff Hardy versus Edge feud, from 2009. I'm just like, what the fuck? Yep. So like, I say that to say, I wonder if years from now, people are going to be like, man, I'd watch SmackDown again if they bring back the commentary team of Michael Cole and JBL.
Yeah, right.
Or actually, I mean, I think this is like the best commentary team they've had in a while. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee is pretty good. And also, I hope he keeps doing it. Pat McAfee wore like a cowboy outfit for Money in the Bank because they're in Texas, and it was like not too over the top, but it was just enough to where I was like, I hope he does this in like every city.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like being live at SmackDown Friday, he does stuff during the commercial breaks and stuff, and he's just got so much charisma and he's so much passion for the product that it makes me, God forbid, emotionally invested in the commentary. And like the individuals. Like it makes me want to believe in Michael Cole and Pat McAfee the way that I believed and cared for Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler.
Right.
Is that crazy to think that? 'Cause,
No,
like,
but
don't really
I just don't think Michael Cole is going to be around much longer.
I mean, probably not.
I mean, not.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. Michael Cole, man. It was a good run. Heidenreich's going to come back for him and just.
Yeah, well, I just mean that, like, I had heard that maybe he was thinking about stepping away.
We've been hearing that for like 2 or 3 years.
Well, I heard that from a source.
Oh, yeah? Who's your source?
No, I can't tell you. I'm a journalist.
But speaking of Heidenreich, again, talking about nostalgia, Atticus Cogar, former guest of the show, he once said his version of the Legion of Doom was Animal and Heidenreich. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Hold on. I'm getting word. In my earpiece. Jordan in the truck. Can you confirm this? Okay, not confirmed. Wait, hold on. Oh, is confirmed.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But but like that's the thing, because like I think I was just talking to Addy about something recently where he was like, yeah, like if before Animal would have passed, if they would have brought him back with Heidenreich and they would have won like the tag belts or something, I would have like popped for him. I'm like, what the fuck? I feel like, what the fuck is when they won the tag belts the first time? I was like, wait, this was a real thing that happened.
Yes.
So for them to do it again, like 15 years later, I would have been like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? It's real bad.
That would have been so bad, but also at the same time, I could have probably seen myself loving that.
Just
because it's so stupid.
Nostalgia's weird,
Like,
man.
wait, you think these guys are?
Yeah.
All right.
Boy. Well, this was one hell of a bonus episode. What do you think?
I liked it.
Deshaun, you made a good choice. Sorry this one was in the queue for a little bit, but I'm happy we got to it today. It brought back some memories, and it kind of makes me want to go back and watch some of the Raws from 2009, 2010, 2011, because while at this point I sort of get a little jaded on wrestling because I'm in the business and I look at it in a different way, there are some memorable moments to go back and watch, both for the right reasons and clearly the wrong reasons based on some of the things we talked about today.
Yeah.
Would you like to see a guest host or guest star concept on Raw today? Do you think that would bring more attention to the product, make you more interested
Sometimes
in
it
the
does.
show?
I mean, I thought it did. I thought, a lot of times people who did normally watch might tune in because Mark Cuban was the guest host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could pick one guest host right now for Monday Night Raw, who would you be?
Oh, man. Whoa.
Come on. A lot of pressure. Think a little modern for the kids. What are you going with?
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
That seems like a big get.
Okay. You asked me for my pick. That's who I'd pick.
Interesting.
Or Eminem.
For the kids.
He's not that way anymore.
You think the kids are listening to Eminem?
They might be. What, my kids are?
Are they?
Yeah,
Really? Is Eminem cool?
I think so.
No, is he cool to kids? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I feel like I don't see like a lot of like Eminem shirts. I'm behind. I thought I was current, but I was gonna say like I think the kids are into like Waka Flocka Flame, or I don't even know if that's a
I think it's
Guy.
been gone for a while now.
Yeah.
Man.
Post Malone.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. I bet he'd be good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet
yeah,
you'd
you're
get
right.
like a terrible tattoo on his face live on Raw.
I hope it is 4 fingers and says Arn.
Yeah, who would do something dumb like that? Jesus. All right, well, this
Yeah.
is the end of the show. That was it. Sean, I hope you liked this episode. I hope you guys on Patreon liked the episode. And for some reason, this dropped for free. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And this is just a little sample of what we do on patreon.com/irononwrestling. We release at least 4 bonus episodes a month, sometimes more. And it's always a good time. And we enjoy talking about the subjects that you pick on Patreon. So $9 and up, you sign up, you pick a bonus podcast subject. But at $3, gets you in the door so you can listen to all the bonus subjects in the archives and get the early episodes and get the extended episodes. It's a good time. Videos, Zoom calls, things in the mail. It's a fun time. Patreon.com/irononwrestling. And that's it. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. And
Hold on. Pardon the interruption.
Okay.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
No.
Yep, Tiger Driver Trivia. Greg, pick a letter between A and Z.
D.
Nuts.
Nuts.
Wrong.
What?
Yeah, you're so wrong. It was E.
I would have gone for the next letter. F. U. Mother effer.
It's not my fault you can't win.
Okay, what's the prize?
Nothing. You didn't win.
What was the prize going to be?
I had some stuff.
No, you didn't.
Yep.
That's the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in,
Sure,
guys.
yeah.
And until next time, kiss
Flowers
goodbye.
and stuff.
Give me a kiss.
Cat food.
What? That was the Patreon bonus episode that you got free of charge. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. We talked for almost 90 minutes. Plus, of course, you got the intro. And if you're on Patreon already, you got an extra bonus 20 minutes. Man, there's so much to love with Iron on Wrestling. I love doing this podcast. We're almost 2 years into this podcast. Weird, wild stuff. We talked about so many good and sort of cringy moments from the Raw guest host period of time within WWE. Zach, do you have any moments you can think of that we didn't touch on that you sort of lean towards as your favorite or least favorite Raw guest host moments?
So favorite for 2 reasons. Having Machine Gun Kelly be on Raw as the guest host.
We didn't talk about that.
One reason for that is he makes good music. The second reason on that would be because he's from Cleveland. So he's representing the hometown. But I specifically love it because at the time, Kevin Owens was one of my favorites on Raw. And when he powerbombed MGK through the table, it blew my mind because I didn't expect it to happen.
Sure.
And he threw that dude around like a rag doll. It was hilarious.
He's a tall, skinny man.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy MGK's current emo phase that he's going through?
So like the new album, have you heard of it?
I mean, I know of it. I haven't really.
I like the new album.
What
It's
I
different.
heard, I'm like,
It's different from what he's done in the past.
yeah, it's like not rap.
No, it's not, but it's good.
Yeah,
I think so.
is it?
I like it.
What do you think about him and Megan Fox?
It's okay. It'll only last for so long.
Oh, you don't think it's gonna be like forever?
Nah, none of those celebrity relationships last forever, man. None of them.
Not one.
I could be wrong, but still.
Vince
You know
and
what I
Linda
mean.
have been together for a long time.
No, man.
Macho Man and Elizabeth had a song that said "Together Our Love Will Last Forever." So I mean, I'd like to think that holds strong.
I don't think that counts.
I mean, sure, they got divorced in 1992, but
Plus, you seen the way he reacted, bro. Hulk Hogan touched her, and it was all over, man.
I feel like Hulk Hogan was the bad guy in that scenario. But that's a subject for another podcast.
Most definitely.
Also, that was way before you were born, so what do you know?
But I've seen it. It's all that matters.
Okay, fair. Listen, I want to thank you for helping me with this bonus episode
Well, thanks for having me.
and supplying the listening audience with not only a free intro and outro, but also an extended intro exclusively for patreon.com/irononwrestling, which, by the way, did I mention you can get involved with for just as little as $3? And I don't think I mentioned it at all. You get followed back on social media by myself and Aaron, and I probably, if you sign up this week, Zach will follow you back too. Why not?
Sure,
Zach Thomas.
why not? Yeah.
Which, by the way, Zach, would you like to plug your social media accounts and how people could support you if they would like to do so?
So I'm on Facebook at Zach Thomas. It's Z-A-C-H, not Z-A-C-K. And that's going to be the same on Instagram and Twitter. The Instagram handle is Zach_Thomas21. And on Twitter, it's Zach_Thomas_21. And then to support me, you can go to my brainbustertees.com. I have shirts. I have 2 designs on there. Shirts, fanny packs, hats, hoodies.
What?
Yeah.
That's so much.
brainbustertees.com. What do you mean?
Why? How do you get all that?
So it's sold by I only make so much money off of it. So it's on that Brainbuster store, the brainbustertees.com. It's printed. It's sold to the people. I get half of that through my PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good way to support you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Any upcoming shows you want to tell anybody about?
I believe August 7th is Ruthless Pro Wrestling in Toledo, Ohio. It's usually on the border of Toledo and Michigan. Sorry, I lied. August 7th is Unsanctioned Pro in
Gotcha.
Delaware, Ohio.
Gotcha.
And then August 8th is XICW, which would be in Michigan.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Zach, for taking the time to talk with me. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can, of course, find me at Gregory Iron on Twitter, at Gregory_Iron on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. Go to my email if you want to book me for pro wrestling seminars, motivational speaking. That'll be Gregory_Iron at yahoo.com, or you can just DM me directly on my social media platforms. I'll get back to you ASAP. Cameo, you can get a shout out from me. Just search Gregory Iron. ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron is a good way to buy t-shirts from me. And of course, if you're not following the podcast, follow it at Iron on Wrestling on all forms of social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're always posting unique photos and videos, rare videos, all that good stuff. Get involved, support the show, give us 5 stars on iTunes wherever you download your podcast. And that is it until maybe this weekend when we drop the regular episode 113 with Jake Christ. And if something happens we don't, then we come back next Wednesday where we have another fun-filled episode for you. I believe we're going to have Eddie Only in the house, Zach. What do you think about that? He's back.
Eddie Only, he's back, man. He's been missing for how long?
8 months.
8 months. That's a long time.
That's like
Long
the same
time.
amount of time that Triple H was out with a torn quad. What was Eddie Only doing? Well,
I don't know.
We're going to find out next week. Big cliffhanger for you. So tune in each and every Wednesday, and of course get the show early 99% of the time on patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling. Have I plugged it enough today? I don't know, but I just plugged it again. But until then, we're going to end the show by bidding you farewell. And since Aaron's not here, Zach, how do you feel about an insensual kiss on the lips?
I'm going to pass.
Don't cancel me.
Okay, that's very unfortunate. This is how you feel when Aaron's kissing you. I get it. All right. We can stop now.
You're my brother. It's okay.
What's supposed to be my coffin will tell. He said the shows we are the dead man walking, cause reflections show the kids still got it with me. No, like I don't know that there's a king never grew up.